A huge thank you to everyone who's continued to support my work on Talk Beliefs. I now have a Patreon campaign where all contributions go towards the cost of travel, audio and video equipment, and fees to religious events that I fully intend to continue to infiltrate. Thank you. Gosh, has it really been a year since all the Easter proselytizers were out? I think so. Because it's Easter weekend, and even though the weather's a bit crap, I think I can spot some people trying to tell people the good message. So let's just see what happens.
Morning.
Hi, man.
You right?
Yeah. Do I know you?
No, you don't. No, I'm sharing a website with people.
Oh, you're
about
selling
Easter.
something?
Well, sharing a website. So
Oh,
it's about
okay.
Easter. What are you doing for Easter?
What am I doing for Easter? Not working.
Not working? That's good.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I am from the States originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What part?
Boston?
Boston.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Have you heard of Utah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
Mormons?
LDS. Yes, of course. Yeah,
Do you know any?
yeah. My brother was dating one for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
No, it's fair enough. So yeah.
why are you on your own? There's supposed to be two of you.
Down there, he's talking to people. You see the one with the.
Oh, I see
brown
now.
bag? You
Yeah.
see him?
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm from Wales.
Yeah.
My friend's from the Ukraine.
Ukraine.
It's pretty cool, eh? You don't get many Mormons from Ukraine.
No.
But he's a good man.
So you're not all from Utah then?
No, it's a stereotype.
Yeah.
Like we have, I think, over 200,000 members in the UK,
Yeah.
and then I think majority are in Utah though.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have a faith?
Well, I was brought up Christian,
Okay.
and then I pretty much decided it didn't make any logical sense, and no, I don't believe in it. There could
Yeah.
be something in the universe, but there's no way of knowing
No,
really.
no. It's fair enough because religion doesn't make sense. Like logically, like
Yeah.
put it together, science, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like I believe in Jesus Christ, he was the Son of God, right? But there's no logical sense that he would run around and heal people from the dead and things like that. Like it doesn't make sense, right? But through prayer, I actually received an answer because I had the faith.
Yeah.
But it's literally just having that feeling inside that you know it's true.
You know, I do occasionally talk to. There's a lot of people who speak in the high street
Yeah.
and about their faiths and everything. But yeah, the Mormons are the ones who say basically you just have to get this feeling in here and that's it. But would you really call that evidence?
So you could have physical evidence which helps, and there are physical evidences of like the Book of Mormon and the Bible and things which help. But
If you don't mind me saying, that's not evidence. That's just people writing stuff down.
oh no, there's like, have you heard of? So the Book of Mormon talks about an ancient like people called the Nephites and Lamanites, right?
Yeah.
And so they settled in the ancient Americas, and some evidences suggest that they're similar, very, very similar to like the Aztecs and Tritex and things like that. And so and there's some things that they found in there, like stones that relate to some visions that people have had in the Book of Mormon times.
Yeah.
So there's evidences of it, but ultimately things can be proved and then disproved. And so something that I found is literally just. It's hard to explain it. As soon as you get your answer through, there's something called the Holy Ghost, right?
Yeah.
And so the way you'll get your answer is it says it through peace, through love, joy, long suffering, things like that. Those feelings inside that build us up. And so we know if something is good if we feel those things. And if something is good,
Yeah.
you know, you probably want more of the good. And so you can go around every churches and you'll feel these things. But the thing that us Mormons do is we tell them to pray about the Book of Mormon and see if you feel those same things. And if you do, it means that the Book of Mormon is what it says it is. It's not just some crazy guy called Joseph Smith who just wrote a bunch of rubbish on it.
Yeah. But for an agnostic or atheist,
Yeah.
the only way they would know is if they, as you said, pray about it. But they're
Yeah.
not about to pray to something they don't believe in.
Exactly. And
You see.
that's why we teach a little bit about the history and to help them develop that initial faith
Yeah.
to find out. And so that's what I do. Me and my friend from the Ukraine, we teach people about the history of our church and how they can find that belief, that initial belief.
And you were brought up in the LDS.
Yeah, my parents weren't. And
Yeah.
my friend, he was brought up in a church, I think it was 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And now he's here doing this mission for 2 years. And so it
Okay.
changed his life like crazy.
Well, I was really fascinated by, all sorts of religions a few
Yeah.
years ago, and I read up on everything. So they actually teach you how to speak to people and
'cause
other languages.
Yeah,
and all
we're
that
just a
sort of
bunch
thing.
of kids, right? So we don't know what we're doing. We just know, okay, I want to do this, and that's about it. And so what
You
they
look
do,
about 21,
20,
20,
very
yeah,
close.
yeah. So,
So-
that's the right sort of age for the missionaries.
Yeah,
isn't it?
so it used to be 19, but now it's 18. And so in the NPC, they teach us how to like teach what things we need to know, because we teach specific lessons.
Yeah.
So we teach those and how you talk, and especially languages as well, especially if someone's like from Africa and they've never spoken
Yeah.
English. Those sort of things is how.
So
it's the
is am I right in saying your bishop chooses where you go? Really?
So have you heard of the prophet in the Mormon faith?
I know you've got all the men in the quorum of 12.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got the quorum of the 12,
Yeah.
and you got the man who actually runs the church called the prophet. And so have you heard of a man called Thomas S. Monson?
Monson, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So him. So ultimately what the quorum of the 12 do in him, they get a lot of submissions through people who want to serve missions, right, like myself.
Yeah.
And then they pray about where we should be sent. So I'm from Wales, and normally you get sent abroad, right?
You got sent to
I got to England.
England.
Right
Well,
next door.
you're lucky. It could have been sent to Mongolia or something.
Madagascar or something, I don't know. And so
Yeah.
it could have been anywhere, but I got sent to England, and I love it because I wanted to teach lots of different people, like from different ethnicities and things.
Your accent has changed, I think, a bit because
From
you
my
don't
Welsh.
sound well.
I've changed a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I've got a little bit of like a little bit of not did you say tang? A little bit of a flair of it, but apart from that,
I can't detect it at all.
you can't feel it at all. Because I talk to English people and they say you're not from England, or you're from like Yorkshire or something, at the top.
No,
But-
it sound like you're from the area. Well,
Yeah.
actually, you're better
Really?
spoken than people from this area, so
Okay.
you're doing well.
That's good. That's good.
Do they teach you the controversy as well? Because I want to bring that up.
Do they teach us? No.
Okay, Joseph Smith was basically, he went around gold digging and
Gold
all
digging.
that.
Yeah.
He made stuff up. He basically borrowed the Book of Mormon from some other book that was out there at the time. And the fact that the golden plates were never actually seen.
Seen, yeah. They were
I know
seen
people
by-
say they saw them, but
yeah. Is there any proof of that?
yeah.
Yeah. And so they don't really teach us the controversy. However, when I've been out, when you talk to people, you find it. And so
Yeah.
then every day we have these study times. So we have 2 hours of study every morning,
Yeah.
where we can study about. I love studying about the controversy bits. So I love weighing up the pros and the cons, like Joseph Smith and the gold digger, and like polygamy, things like that. I just love studying
Yeah.
that to see if, hey, is this actually what it is? And when it all came down to it's literally the Book of Mormon. Like, is it actually a record sent from God? That is literally it. And everything else just.
I couldn't base my life on a book because everyone writes books.
Oh, there's a lot more to it than that. And so you've got the aspects of the book, that means you have your core foundation.
Yeah.
But through like personal experiences, then you add across it. Like
Yeah.
through basing on this book, it doesnn't tell me who I should marry and what kind of person I should look for and things like that, or what I should have for breakfast. It's
Well,
like a
it
core-
does. I know that I think of the Doctrine and Covenants, it says you should have lots of wives or you can't get into the kingdom of God, something like that.
So the Doctrine and Covenants doesn't say that.
Because I'm fascinated by the pros and cons of religions, and
Yeah.
Scientology is the worst.
Yeah.
But I want to give the people whose lives have been changed by it a chance to, I'm not
Yeah.
just reading crap on the internet.
Exactly. So
Or not.
I personally feel it's changed my life. Like
Yeah.
when I was growing up, I was born a Mormon. I didn't really follow it. I was that kid who just wanted to do what he wanted.
Yeah.
And then I went through some challenges. My brother has a mental health disorder, and he wanted to serve a mission, right? But he wasn't allowed to because of his mental health disorder. So we prepared for it, and he was brought up going, yeah, you got to serve a mission. And when it got to the time, he wasn't allowed because of his condition. And so he came out and promised me and said, look, promise me that you'll serve a mission. And I was like, yeah, whatever, man, I'll do it, right? But I didn't have the faith. I didn't think God was there. And so I just carried on, and I kept my promise, and I was putting my papers in. And then that time, my older sister was serving in Leeds on her mission. And so, but she ended up coming back early again because of mental health that she had developed on her mission. So
She developed mental health issues on her
like
mission.
paranoia and things like that. there were signs before of it, but it kind of flared up there because you're getting a lot of rejection and things. So that happened.
I can imagine. You do probably meet a lot of people who do reject you and perhaps say rude things to you, and that might have an effect on you, especially at your age.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. So that affected my sister, and so she ended up coming home, things like that. And so I was.
She wasn't in any way looked down upon or anything by leaving.
Oh no.
Okay.
No. If anything, she really wanted to stay, right? She really wanted to, and we have someone called a mission president who looks after us, and he's like, "Oh, I want you to stay. I need you to stay." And she's like, "I want to stay. I want to stay." And then just because of health reasons, she just physically and mentally just couldn't keep up with it.
Okay.
So she was in the flat most of the time, couldn't do much, which is a shame. And so I picked her up, but the day before I went to the MTC, and she promised me, she went, "Look, don't come home, you're going to stay and finish it up for me and your brother." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And so I went in it, and then I just broke down. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm leaving my family behind, and they're all like full of mental health issues now. Should I really do it? And that's when I prayed, and I prayed like crazy. It wasn't a good thing, but I told God straight up, I said, "Look, God, if you're there, like prove yourself to me now. Give me a feeling or something that I know you're there, that I'm doing the right things. Otherwise, I'm just going to go home and look after my family." Because that's what I needed, right?
Yeah.
I'm leaving 2 years to leave my family, and I get to Skype them twice a year. And I feel, my personal feeling is that I should stay home with them. And so I prayed, and I got this warm feeling inside, and I didn't know why. And I was wondering what it was, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And then I had a big set of scriptures, right?
Oh, it's an iPad. I thought you were carrying a Book of Mormon with you.
Oh, no. We give that out the first. Well, me personally, I like giving it out the
I
first.
saw the leather case and I thought, obviously there's some sort of book in there.
Pipped out Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
And so I opened up this scripture after praying, right?
Yeah.
I just flipped it open, just a random book, and these are the first two verses I saw, and I'll let you read them, because I think it was amazing. And this is the main reason I was here. So it's these two highlighted ones.
You have had many afflictions because of your family. Nevertheless, I will bless you and your family. Oh, I see what it means. Yeah. Lift up your heart and rejoice. So did you... This obviously is something that resonates with you and what you were going through.
Yeah.
But did you like open the book and that just immediately jumped out, or did you have to look for it?
No, I literally just opened it up. So it was like this. So that's my book. I had this feeling inside, and I was like, "Look, I don't know what it is. What should I do?" And I went bam, and they were the first two verses I saw.
Okay.
Which is kind of creepy, but kind of cool at the same time. And so I knew.
It is, but it is a big book full of similar kind of things anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not throwing dirty water on it.
Yeah.
But as a skeptic, you know, you can open a book which is, as I say, full of verses like that and probably find something that would help you. And on this occasion, you know.
It's true. But can I tell you the rest of the story?
Yeah.
And so as I went through my mission, I was in St. Albans. I started there.
Yeah.
And because there's a big area which we cover, like London up to Kings Lynn, that sort of area, like Norwich. And so I went to St. Albans for my first 3 months.
Yeah.
And my sister was in the middle of doing counselling and things because of her mental health. And so I was praying, and when I read this, I specifically thought of her. And I was like, if anyone needs to be helped, it's my sister. My brother's lived with it his whole life. So help my sister so she can get through it. And so I got an email through, and my sister told me how she didn't need any medication, and how her counselling, she only needed sometimes. It wasn't frequent 4 times a week. It was just occasionally when she needed it.
Yeah.
And so from needing that, just that gradual decrease was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I spoke to my brother, who has like a serious anxiety disorder, like big crowds and things he can't handle. He has like fits and
agoraphobia or
probably
something like that. That's fear of the outdoors in general, but there is a one with crowds as well. I think.
I think it's just a crowded one. So like, you know, at chapels, there's like lots of people. Like I'd have to sit in the foyer with him because he just couldn't handle it. He'd have fits and things, so he'd shake on the floor and whatnot, and I'd have to put him out. It was tough, but so with him, he told me how he wanted to go to Japan and teach English to Japanese students. I'm like, man, you can't even walk into a church without going crazy. How are you going to do this?
Yeah.
And he's like, just that feeling I had, that warmth, just hits me again and again and again. And so it's just knowing that that promise was actually fulfilled. And it was in Doctrine and Covenants as well, which...
But it all seems to come back to feelings. I mean, any feelings can come from anywhere. You can generate them yourself. You know, I've had problems recently, and I just changed my thinking. You know, none of that came out of praying.
Yeah.
I spent the first 20 years of my life praying, and it was just hit and miss.
Yeah.
You know, and good things happen, hey, and then bad
And
things
something,
happen, and
yeah.
oh, why did that? And you justify it, and you in your head and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there isn't a God there, but I think there's just no way of knowing really. And even if there is, don't you think it's better to come up with solutions yourself from within,
100%. Yeah.
and then say, I did that. I wasn't given that. I did that.
So what we believe in is Mormons, like God gives us a lot of things that like blessings, like my sister with her mental health issues. The majority of that was definitely her. So most of those things was obviously her. Like she had to put some hard work in to help her out. My brother had to go onto the Skype to do all these to teach these Japanese students English. Like he had to do that. However, that initial idea, maybe that prompting to actually do something, maybe that came from God.
Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with saying perhaps that was inspired by God and
Yeah,
everything.
inspired
you
is a
know.
good word. So, like everything we do, it does come down to us. Like I could say, I have a feeling that I need to go talk to yourself. I have a feeling that I need to do that. And I went and I did it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I did it, right? But that initial feeling, that initial thing that I had, I'd say it was from God. But the actual action, I did that. That was
Yeah.
me.
So you don't mind the idea that somebody somewhere invisibly is kind of controlling your life, or even if it's just inspiring.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say controlling or maybe inspiring. And so it's kind of, because we all have agency to choose, right? I can choose what I'm going to have for breakfast. I can choose whether to run and talk to that guy. And I can do anything.
Yeah.
However, I think God knows best for us and what we need to do, if he is all powerful and all knowing.
Yeah.
And so he can give us the ideas of what we need to do, maybe to help somebody else out. And so I had the impression to talk to you. So I came and I spoke to you. It helped me in my life because I get to know your point of view and it also lets me question my own things.
Yeah.
Go, okay, like he's given this point, what do I feel about that? And kind of build upon it. So not only is it helping you, but it's helping me as well, kind of learn more. So all these situations we're put in, it's just, for me, it's just a faith builder.
And how do you feel in the day-to-day, because I know I've seen a documentary about missionaries, I actually think more missionaries in England. But,
I saw that one. What was that? I think it was Meet the
I think it was
Mormons.
Meet the Mormons,
Was
yeah.
that January, about 2 years ago?
Yeah, and I know I did some research after that, and you're on your own, the two of you. You can't be too far away from each other.
Yep.
If one of you goes to the toilet, one has to wait outside. Is that true?
That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not
Okay,
true,
I
yeah.
want to break these myths
Yeah,
here.
that's
But you
all right.
can't be too far away from each other.
Yeah.
You can only write home or
Once a week.
once a week.
Yeah, so we do ours on Monday.
Yeah.
And then we Skype home on Mother's Day and Christmas.
That's all.
It's to keep us focused on like our faith. Like some missionaries, like
Yeah.
especially if you're from across the world, they're very homesick. And so
Absolutely.
so if you keep seeing your parents every day, it'll just make you more homesick. And so the idea behind it, and it helps a lot. If I kept
Yeah.
seeing my parents and things like that, I'd be like, oh man, I just want to go home now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's right, to be
You don't
honest.
think it's right?
I gotta be honest with that. I think the church is just, and not just the LDS church, it's
Yeah.
just like a big sales organization. You're salesmen who aren't being paid, and you're paying your own way mostly, and you're selling the product. So the more people will come in, like me, join the church, give 10% of their income, which you call tithing,
Tithing, yeah.
and that makes the organization bigger and richer. And Mormons are rich. They own all this land. They can build these great big temples. I'm sure they do some things for charity, I'm sure. But you look at some of the other churches, like the Jehovah's Witnesses and everything, they are rich as hell.
Yeah.
You know, and the Seventh-day Adventists, they make billions. Catholic Church, well,
Even more than that. Yeah.
you know, now I know it's harsh. I needed someone to talk to me harshly like that when I was giving my life to Jesus. You know, it
Yeah.
really didn't get me anywhere. And I just want you to respond to that. Seriously. Are you an unpaid salesman?
Am I an unpaid salesman? My personal feelings? Sometimes I wake up, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes at the beginning of my mission I did feel that way. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, because I was going, what am I doing? Like, I'm literally, it feels like I'm selling it. But it's something interesting that our church does, all the things behind, like what you find out, like our we have like trainings and things that we do.
Yeah.
But none of it is about like body language and posture, how to speak to people, what questions to ask, things like that. We never get taught anything like that.
Yeah.
And so it's
yeah.
all about the scriptures, all about faith, all about ultimately repentance and repenting of the things we do wrong. Like if you say something wrong to someone on the street, you didn't mean to repent, say something else. You know, it's all about these things that will build us to something. I don't feel, now that I've learned, I feel I'm not a salesman. I mean, I
think there's undue pressure on someone who's quite young. And I also think that if you said to your parents, no, I don't want to do a mission, that they'd be very upset with you.
My parents wouldn't mind.
But within the church, you'd be sort of like, oh, he didn't go on a mission. It would be bad, or it would be bad for you.
Maybe in Utah, but in England, it's really not a big push to go. My brother, he was pushed at that time, but now it's literally if you want to. And
but
yes, sometimes
you just said in Utah, so that's still, it's the Mormon church. That's not right.
So different areas have different ways of doing things. Like here, because the majority of the Mormons, there's that whole, like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. But in reality, you don't. It's your own choice. And so ultimately, it's up to you and God what you do in life.
So you'd rather be doing this, seriously.
100%. I pinky promise you. That is.
Rather be doing this.
I'd rather be doing this
than traveling the world. You know, get yourself a lot of sex.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, going to the movies.
Because I've dedicated this 2 years to the Lord, right? And I can do all of that after.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that I'm held back from. It's just saying, okay, you've given so much to me, and you've looked after my family. I want to do this for you, and that's what I want to give back. And then whatever happens afterwards, happens afterwards. But right now, I'm so glad, 100%. I'm so glad about the decision I've made here. It's really changed my life. Like, I was some little guy, I didn't know what I was talking about before, and we're kind of thrown out in this situation. You could go, oh man, it's harsh. But I've grown so much, like so much, in such a short period of time. And I've been able to know, ultimately, in a very practical sense, what I want to do in the future.
Yeah.
Like talking about Salesman. And so something I want to do, I found that I love talking to people. And so after my mission, I've been offered a job at an oil firm.
Oh, good.
And so I'm going to be selling oil and things like that to people, which will be really nice. That's come from talking to people, obviously, in a very practical sense. That's what happens, right? But if I don't like that, I want to study graphic design.
Oh yeah, I did that.
You did that?
I did it. Didn't do very well at it, but I started off doing that. Yeah, I didn't like it in the end.
Yeah, so those sort of things you come and just, it helps you focus.
So everything, though, that comes back to the church you belong to, and do you believe 100% the church is true and doing the right thing?
So with that, there's some things that you go, okay, like, what is that about? Like you said, you always have those things that come back, like Joseph Smith and polygamy and things like that, right? But that's why you have to have that underlying fact, like, okay, I know he is a prophet.
Oh, you're the one from Ukraine. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I was just giving your friend a hard time.
All right.
I love it.
Not that hard. Okay.
So it's all about that foundation base, and then you just build upon it.
Yeah.
So I have a strong testimony in that foundation base. Joseph Smith, the Book of Mormon and things, and everything else that comes, I can question it. We love questioning things in our faith.
So you have researched Joseph Smith. Is he a true prophet?
I have researched. You researched that as well.
Yeah, I did.
But you're going to be a little bit biased, though, aren't you?
Because we know it's true. It's because we
know it's true.
So if I didn't know if it's true, I wouldn't go around telling people. Because if I'm doing that, I mean, what if I'm wrong? And I'm telling people to join a cult or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? That's not good.
What do you say about racism within the LDS Church? Because a black person could not hold the priesthood until I think 1977 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then because of civil pressure, and because people are changing, becoming generally nicer people, the church said, "Oh, hang on, we've had a revelation, conveniently." They can hold the priesthood, or they're not as horrible as we once said they were. See, I have done some reading.
Dude, I love it.
Okay, I want to know about that. And also, I think just recently I read that gay couples cannot be baptized, or their children can't be baptized if they adopt children.
Yes.
Or they can't, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know too much about the gay thing. I can study that. And then next time we meet, I can talk to you more about it.
I know about the gays where children not allowed to be baptized until they will have 18 years.
Yeah, something like
because
that.
like.
Why any restrictions whatsoever?
Why any restrictions? Like, I don't know so deep, but I know what those children, they're supposed to have kind of their strong view, you know, and they're supposed to be completely mature and to choose in their own, not by the force by the parents, choose in their own to do it, you know.
Because I think the main reason behind it is our church doesn't believe in homosexual relations and things like that. And so if your parents are doing that, and you join a church that doesn't believe in that, that could cause some family issues. And so in a very practical sense, you've got to really be mature enough to make that decision.
But people are gay. I've got gay friends.
Oh,
they
I
don't
have
choose
gay
to be.
friends.
They just are. And what every church seems to say, not just yours, is that, oh, you can be gay, that's fine, but don't fall in love, don't have sex, don't have kids, don't do anything that we can do. Because we think it's pretty bad. That's just human prejudice, and they're using their word of God to say that this is some moral absolute in the entire universe. But it's just their prejudice and their ignorance. I'm not saying you personally.
No, it's okay.
This is me, judging the organization.
Yeah.
Again, not just your organization, but
just in general, churches, religions.
They use it to keep a certain kind of people within their group and keep out people they don't like, or don't understand.
So we can do more studies on that. I have my personal feelings and beliefs on that. But we've been talking for a while. We've got to go to an appointment.
Yeah.
But is there a time maybe we can meet and talk more? Oh, about the blacks and things. So something interesting about that is I did my research on it as well because I thought that was just mean, right? And I did some research and I found out that Joseph Smith actually ordained some people to the priesthood before he died. And so I don't know what went wrong. I don't know where the communication went, but for some reason that kind of stopped after Joseph Smith died. So no one had it. I don't know why that is. I seriously don't know.
But the Lamanites were cursed and became black, and that was the reason for the black race.
However, the Lamanites did come closer to God, and they did ultimately were the most righteous denomination in that time. The Nephites lost. they went evil, and they went about. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, it's just so they can distinguish themselves. Ultimately, if we're going for backing up the blacks one, they destroyed us. And so...
Well, I don't know, man. I think it's any organization that does good and wants to be good is a good thing, but I just say look into the origins of it.
100%. I agree.
You can be a good person without an
religion.
Organization pulling the strings, right? I had to learn that myself and get out of the organization that was hovering over me, which was the Baptist Church.
Oh, Baptist.
You guys, you seem like good people, you can do that yourselves. I know you're embroiled in the LDS Church. It would be difficult to walk away from it. I'm not saying maybe you should, but...
Just look into it. I love it. Is there a time maybe we can talk more about it? Because I love your opinions and it helps me question, and then I can do some studies.
Well, it could, right? You're not going to get anywhere with me.
But I love your opinions, though. I love people who are real. And so, people who come up to us and go, oh, I'm not interested, I actually love them more because they're not wasting my time. And so, going to these appointments and no one's there, it's kind of like, what the heck? What are you doing?
Okay.
But with you, you have these opinions and you have these questions. I mean, now's kind of the best time for them to be answered. So, if you want those questions answered, I'm happy to meet with you and my friend as well to answer those questions for you.
I know, but you want to get people baptized and take that off the list, and that's not going to be me, though. So perhaps you should move on to someone else, because...
So our ultimate goal isn't to baptize people, right? It's part of the list, right? But our ultimate is just to build people's faith in Jesus Christ. And if you're agnostic now, right?
Well, a bit more than agnostic, but nobody knows anything, so yeah.
I think it's more
I guess you would say agnostic atheist,
So what we do is you just build on people's faith. I was talking to a couple a second ago who want to meet with us, and they go to the church. I forgot, there's a church down there across the road, and apparently that's huge, but I just want to talk to them about building their faith. Me and my friend, us personally, we don't care if you're baptized or not, right? But what we do is we just build on faith, and at the end of the lesson you go, okay, I felt good, I've learned something.
But you got to understand, looking from the outside,
it does look,
before I studied different religions. I thought, Mormons, what are they? They have a choir. That's all I knew about.
The Osmonds.
Yeah,
band.
and now the whole, Joseph Smith thing, and the seer stones, and the garments and everything. Are you wearing the garments now? Yeah. Well, I wish I was at the moment. I'm quite
It's cold, right?
You got to understand, it looks kind of culty.
And that's why we teach people about it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because ultimately what we do is, and you know as well, is ultimately we just ask people to pray to know the truth. We don't, that's it. Like if people go, I'm not interested or I don't care, that's alright. I'm not bothered. But ultimately our main message is just pray to know it, and you'll have that feeling, and if it is, it's true, it's true. If it's not...
As I always say, this will be the last thing, is I know you got to go, is that if someone goes away and say, well, I'm going to pray to see if the Mormon church is true, the only reason they're doing that is because they decided they want to join the Mormon church.
I had someone this guy I was teaching called James, right? He taught everything, and we were like, man, it's true. And he's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
So he prayed. He never received his answer. He never got an answer. And as far as I know, he's still not baptized.
Yeah.
Do we care about that? A little bit, because we know the blessings that come from baptism.
You didn't have the Sacred Grove vision, did you?
No, I didn't have a light coming and two people descending. I never had that.
Nobody does.
Exactly.
Well, they say they do, but... Okay, well, here it is Easter again, and lots of people out from different churches, and the first one I bumped into, I thought he was just a lone Christian. He was like pacing back and forth in one little area with a leather-bound Bible all zipped up, and I went up to him, and he was a Mormon, about 20 years old. I thought he was one of these cookie-cutter Mormons from Utah. He's blonde, angelic, sort of mannequin-looking type, but he's British. Yeah, and something I notice a lot, though, they're very open to talk about the controversy about, Joseph Smith and the blacks in the priesthood and the gay thing and all that, and they say they love it. And then they say, but actually, we've got to run off. We've got an appointment. This always seems to happen. It might be a coincidence. Maybe they're going off to discuss tactics about me because they said they want to meet up with me again. I might do. They're not going to get anywhere. But maybe they're just honing their apologetics. I don't know. Yeah. So, Mormons, they are everywhere. I don't agree with what they're doing, and I don't agree with how they treat their missionaries. And hopefully I got him to think about a few things.